5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
We find wrestling, one promotion, one event, one match at a time. We are the Indie Wrestling Experience with Bob and John. I am Bob. John, what is up, man?
What is going on, man? Excited.
Well, I am too, because we have a very special guest with us today. We've been previewing it for a couple of weeks now. We have Evan Zalios, who is a mortgage lender, but more importantly, he is promoter for Focus Pro Wrestling, who John and I have talked about numerous times on this show. We are big fans of Focus Pro Wrestling. Welcome to the show, Evan.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I moonlight as a wrestling promoter. My shoot job is that of a mortgage loan officer, but I do moonlight as a wrestling promoter for Focus Pro, and I'm just really excited to be here. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah.
So cool, man. So glad to have you on.
Yeah, no doubt. We're really excited about this Focus Pro show, and we're going to talk about it all the way up July 13th, 3 p.m. bell time, I believe, correct?
3 p.m. bell, yeah. So we have the advantage of running a show at the Great American Beer Hall in Medford, Mass, which is a beautiful venue. It's amazing. And we also have the opportunity to run a matinee show. So, it is, we take full advantage of the daylight, which we don't necessarily get at our regular haunt over in Widowmaker and Braintree. And it's fun because you see a lot of different faces at a matinee show on a Sunday than you do at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, right?
Right.
So yeah, really excited to be over there for our second time.
Yeah. We're very much looking forward to the show. We're going to do a live watch along that day. We're going to get to that in a minute. Evan, I told you that because you hadn't been on the show before and we hadn't spotlighted Focus Pro, that I'm putting you through the obligatory Meet Evan Zalios interview here. So I'm going to start with this. I went and did a little, my research, but I was looking at your profile on the mortgage lending and I noticed school in Boston. Have you been in Boston your whole life?
I have been Boston my whole life, outside of a brief stint for college in Worcester. I did do my time out there playing football in Worcester. But then, yeah, this has been home to me my entire life. Born and bred in a little town outside of Boston called Milton, and went to Boston College High School. Was which is a pretty big name school around here. Went to college at Assumption, finished up at UMass Boston, and then kind of got off and running in the work world. But yeah, this is my home, born and bred.
Yeah. Now we're here to talk
Awesome,
wrestling,
man.
so I'm not going to get too deep into this, but did you go right into the mortgage lending or there stops along the way?
No, guys. So I have been a sales professional for the better part of my adulthood here. I'm not going to throw myself under the bus and tell everybody how old I am, but I have done pretty much almost every job under the sun. I ran my own business. I did a whole retail store that had 7 locations throughout New England and Florida. I was in banking. I was a butcher when I was in college. I was everything but the candlestick maker at this point.
I
So,
love it.
yeah, mortgages came calling about 10 years ago, and that's where I have made my home.
Very cool. Very cool. So when did you get into wrestling? Was that as a kid or later as an adult?
Oh no! So
That's our
my very
conversation,
first
John. It's
memory.
starting now.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Let's just get into it. My very first memory of pro wrestling was my dad had procured a black box, so we could
Oh,
Now
steal
we're
all the
talking.
pay-per-views back in the day. Right?
nice.
My very first memory of pro wrestling was Hogan Warrior at WrestleMania 6.
Okay.
Oh, it's a great memory, man.
All right,
It's a great one
so
to start with.
incredible. So that was the first ever you I ever got to watch in entirety from start to finish. I was, say, whatever, 6 years old, 7 years old when it happened, and I was hooked from before that. Like I would always watch stuff on USA and things that whatever whenever it was on TV, but wrestling to me was one of my favorite things in the world. And, it just grew from there. And I've been a fan ever since. So when I say that I'm a lifelong wrestling fan, I have been a fan of wrestling since I was a little kid.
That's awesome.
Without fail.
Hey,
Right.
man, we're right there with you. So
Yep.
you're just parroting our experience, and dude, we're down for it. We love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so
Yeah.
you're a 90s kid as a wrestling fan. What I mean, obviously you had WCW and WWF are at that time available to you, but did you branch out more? Were you interested in any of the others?
Oh, absolutely. So I remember watching, and this is like I was a 90s kid, but I remember watching on like ESPN, like all their stuff, the random like Texas promotions that they would have. And
Yeah.
they used to have like Memphis Championship Wrestling where it would be like Bill Dundee and Jerry Lawler and a very, very young Jeff Jarrett. And
Hmm.
I love wrestling. Like I can't say it enough. It's such a passion of mine that I drank it all in to the point where I remember I was in high school and one of my buddies was like, "Hey, there's this show happening in Revere. I don't know. I've never heard of it before. It's a company called ECW. Do you want to go check it out?" There you go. 13-year-old Evan is now suddenly like listening to the Dudleys completely run down, the entire crowd and so I was, it wasn't just, as a kid, yeah, it was WWF, it was WCW. I remember watching, Saturday night at, waiting for my mom to make dinner, like WCW Saturday night. Before that was Fishing with Orlando Wilson, and then it was WCW Saturday night. I'll never forget it. And God bless my father, because he was the one who he helped encourage me to get into it. Right. Like my dad
That's great.
took me to my very first show, which was main evented by, it was in 1990. It was main evented by Hogan and Tugboat against Earthquake and Dino Bravo at the Boston Garden.
Nice.
Like,
That is awesome.
right. So he always encouraged me to get into this stuff, even though he couldn't care. But,
Right.
It's a testament to my dad. My dad took my best friend and I to WrestleMania 14 when we were kids.
Oh, cool.
We were freshmen in high school, and my dad sat there the entire time in a chair with his arms folded like this, not like couldn't care less. Pyro going off, crazy things happening. No, did not give a flying at because he was just there for me.
Right.
And that really stuck and hit home and is, one of those things that meant a lot to me, especially growing up and things like that. So, I was all over the place. If it was wrestling, I would digest it. I wrote a high school newspaper column about pro wrestling.
That's
like
awesome.
that's how into it I was.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So then how do you get when do you dip your toes into the water of pro wrestling for the first time?
So I was not a big indie wrestling guy. I never really got it. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Because like I understood it and I got it, but I'm like, why would I want to go spend money and on these guys I've never heard of? And like it wasn't really correlating in my head. And then I believe it was like I heard a commercial for it on the radio, and like one thing led to another, and then Beyond was putting on a show that Matt Cardona was going to be at, and I still to this day I'm a massive Matt Cardona fan. Like I give that guy all the credit in the world for everything he has done and everything he has built himself up into, and he's truly a story that is a self-made, a self-made millionaire, this guy, right? Granted,
Right.
he wasn't, but now it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, screw this. I'm going to go to the show. I want to meet Matt Cardona. I'm going to go. And it was at the Somerville Armory. And I dragged one of my buddies along, and we sat maybe 6 rows back on the stage. And I was blown away by the athleticism and the interaction more than anything else.
Yes.
Blew my mind. Like I was used to being behind a barricade, 250, 300 feet away from people. right? Like I was not used to being able to like look up and be like, oh, that Brody King just walked past me, right?
Yep.
Like
Right.
those things, like that's where I was like, holy crap, I can actually, be involved in some aspect of the show, whether it's being up against the ring, whether it's, being involved in people chanting, whatever it happens to be, I can actually get up close and personal with these athletes, which to me, I've always been like superheroes, right?
Yes.
Um,
Exactly.
and that was my very first uh, interaction in the world of independent wrestling was that show. And from that, it was just, I fell in love with indie wrestling at that point because I saw the passion that was happening. I saw the passion of the fans. I saw the talent killing themselves out there, putting on a show and doing it for us, right? It's not for the
Yes.
cameras and it's not for anything else. It's for the fans. That re-sparked a passion in me for wrestling that I hadn't realized had gone at that point. So yeah, that was where that's it. That's where my indie wrestling journey began, was that very first show. From there, it was kind of off to the races where I tried to digest as much as I possibly could. I spent, I went to a show that Ted Goods was putting on down in Fall River, which, if you ask a South Shore boy like me if you'd ever go to Fall River, the answer would be a resounding no. But I went specifically for that show. I got to see Ted and Little Mean Kathleen wrestle Alec Price and Becca,
Okay.
whose careers have just completely taken off, which to me is like incredible to see that. And I tell everybody that while that first show that I went to that Cardona was on, where like I said, I saw amazing talent that show, being two rows away from the ring, watching Alec and Becca and Ted and LMK do their thing in front of this crowd. That's what made me go, huh, there's something here. And the passion of these fans is unmatched. How do I get myself involved in some way or another?
It's crazy, Evan. It's
Amazing.
funny that.
That's that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bob.
Oh, I was
I was
just
just saying it's awesome. It's this is exactly why we love indie wrestling. It's Bob and I talk about it. It's the difference between, and this is nothing against WWE, the big shows that, like you're saying, kind of behind the barrier. We can consume those. We can enjoy the spectacle and the show of that. But when you're at these indies, you're part of it. You feel it. It's a connection that you just don't get. And like you said, it lights you up. You tingle. It's becoming part of what you're watching, part of the story. It's on a whole different level.
Yep, I agree. It's like you have, and I don't like using this term, but it's like that you there's a certain amount of ownership that goes into the talent, right? Like that's my guy, right? And you're like, that's my guy, and I'm going to cheer for him and do whatever I have to do to make my voice heard. And you don't, while you do get that at the bigger shows, the level of intimacy you get at a smaller independent show is
Yes.
it's mind blowing, and it's far and away, to me, the best professional wrestling experience you can ever have is going to an independent wrestling show where you are standing close to the ring and your favorite wrestler can walk by and you can spend, and either at intermission or after the show or whatever, you can spend 5 or 10 minutes chatting them up, getting a photo, supporting them and helping them, and really getting to know these people, which that's a level of fandom that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Exactly.
Nope.
Awesome.
And that's
well said, man.
and that is I mean, it's funny listening to you. Your story and my story are very, very close. They mirror each other in a lot of ways, in the sense that my dad introduced me to wrestling, but he was only sort of half interested in it. I've been into it ever since. The only difference is I took a break because at one point I tried to suplex my brother on the bed and I kicked a hole in the wall. and it got banned in my house for a while, and then I found girls, so that I came back to it later.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But
Well, that's a whole other thing.
but when I went to my first indie show in 2018, and I thought the same thing. First match was a battle royal. These guys are throwing each other over the top rope and landing at my feet, and I was like, I'm here, I'm in, I love it. And I wanted to do the same thing, get involved in the business. Where can I find a place where I can be a part of this? And that's when I started this. I started going from town to town, show to show, and seeing different indies, because everyone is different and they've all got different crowds. And going back to the point you were making a second ago, looping back the long way, every promoter that I've talked to on this podcast and off, at some point I have said to them, hey, I went out to your show and man, those people really love X or Y or Z. They like, there is a guy, they got a guy or they got a gal, and they're just like we were talking about Route 33 and John D. Crazy Hillbilly.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like every town's got a guy. And I love that. That makes it even more fun too. Like watching the crowd, who they respond to, who the local favorites are. It's that, I think that's what makes independent wrestling unique. And it juices me up. So,
yeah, 100%.
What was give me a time. What was that show with Cardona? What year was that?
Yeah. I want to say it was 2021-ish, maybe.
Okay.
2021, 2020, 2021, 20. Yeah, probably around 2021. It was the fall. So it was like a October, November show. Mm-hmm. So it was almost into 2022 at that point.
That's cool.
Okay. And then I sent you over the notes and I kind of walked through these next few steps once you got involved in wrestling. Do I have that right? Is it beyond your sponsorships? Was beyond sort of the next step?
Honestly, it became sponsorship. So let's put it like this. I have had this mortgage industry thing going for 10 years, and I was always seeing, promotions talking about, sponsor a wrestler. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me sponsor a wrestler as Evan Zalios, home loan specialist, right? So that's what I did. And I began to sponsor wrestlers and sponsor events because I truly, and I still feel this way, the reason I got involved with things is because I wanted to help indie wrestlers buy a house. Mm-hmm. It's really what it came down to. It's, look, everyone has a profession. There's, unless you are a upper echelon independent wrestler, this is not how you make your money typically to survive.
Right.
Let me show you how you can purchase a home.
Dude, that's awesome.
And so that was my whole thing, because everybody knows, if I tell you guys wrestling and mortgages, who's the first person everybody thinks of?
Yep, absolutely, Conrad.
Yes, 100%. Right. I want to be the Conrad of the independent circuit.
I love that.
Awesome.
That's who I want to be. That's who I started out to be. That's what I've always wanted to be. When I first got involved, is I wanted to be Conrad of the independents. And it's funny, Kaia McKenna, who I love dearly, said to me, she said it the other day, like a couple months, our last show. She said, "You're like the Conrad of indie wrestling." And I'm like, thank you. Like,
yes,
somebody gets it.
Yes.
So that's how I got involved. I got involved with sponsoring shows, sponsoring promotions. I sponsored, 3 of the biggest independent wrestling companies around here, for not only talent, but the show in and of itself, just to get my name out there, and to be able to have people, the name recognition. I will say the name recognition really got me far. People knew who I was when, whomever the ring announcer was, 95% of the time, it was Rich Palladino, would say my name. Everyone knew who it was, right? People would turn around and point at me. And then if I was at a show and I tell them, "Oh, I'm the mortgage guy," like, "You're the mortgage guy." And it helped, it really helped me build a relationship with the talent as well, which I think is a good segue into, how we kind of got things involved with Focus Pro, because my relationship with the talent is something that has helped legitimize me as a promoter here at Focus Pro. Mm-hmm. Got involved with Focus Pro, I want to say January of 2024, I think was the first Focus Pro show I went to. I had been talking to those folks online a little bit here and there, because like I said, if there was an indie show that was running anywhere near me, I was going to somehow try and get my name involved in it, right? Whether it be sponsoring the show, sponsoring the talent, doing whatever. I wanted my name involved. Didn't matter what promotion you were, didn't matter what anything was. So, we reached out and we started talking back and forth. And I want to say the first show that I sponsored was that January show, or maybe the show in November, December beforehand, where they crowned the first champion, where they crowned Tyree as their first champion.
Right.
And that's kind of where this relationship with them began.
Right. That's that's so cool. And I was trying to figure out how long, when, whether you were there at the beginning. So when you jumped in, were there changes happening at Focus Pro, or were they just like, eventually, dude, you might as well be part of this?
No, so there were changes happening in the aspect of the venue was changing. So the first show I attended was their last show at Aeronaut, which was a brewery in Everett, which was home to Focus Pro, and Focus Pro did very, very well there. I went to that show, dug it, then found out they were going to be moving venues to 7 minutes up the street from my house. And I was like, okay, now, all right, guys, all right, this is good. I'm like, so you'll be close. This is nice.
I get the sign. I'm
right.
watching. I'm paying attention.
Right. Yeah. So from there, it was very much a conversation where I would just, lend kind of my ideas. I was asked for my ideas, which first and foremost meant a lot to me. Being a fan and being, somebody that has run businesses and has been successful at running businesses. Focus had the wrestling aspect done. It was down pat. Amazing booking, phenomenal talent, a really good vibe. When you go to a Focus Pro show, like, you're at a Focus Pro show. It's a good time. The business aspect of things was definitely running. It wasn't running. I don't want to say it was running badly in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
The business was running the business, but nobody was running the business, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Right.
100%.
So, my advice and my thoughts were taken into account, and that meant a lot to me, because truly, I've always wanted to be involved somehow in wrestling, right? And it's, as a kid, I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and then my mother said she'd disown me if I went to wrestling school. So I was like, all right, Ma, I guess that's not happening. So I played football instead, and injured my neck and can barely walk now, so that's all fine. But I was very much always looking to get involved. And the ownership group at Focus Pro were the first people that took me seriously as not just somebody who would, give money to sponsor a battle royal, or give money to, to bring in a specific talent that cost a ton of money and then the promoter didn't have it, right? Like, that's Focus Pro. The owners of Focus Pro were the very first people that said, no, we appreciate what you bring to the table. We know what you can do. Let's see let's see how you can get involved in this. And
that's great.
It was awesome. The very first thing I did was, I'll never forget it. I got a text message and it said, all right, you want to be a wrestler? I'll see you at 8:00 in the morning. You're going to learn how to build a ring.
I love it.
And so I can handle all that stuff now. I can successfully build a ring.
Oh, man.
That's awesome. That's cool.
I'm dying.
Now, is that really what I want to do? Absolutely not.
Nope.
No chance. It's not what I want to be doing. But if I have to, I can 100% get a ring together and help out. And that's, I think that's really a lot of the vibe of what we do, is that everybody pulls in the same direction, right? And that's something that I happily like to think that, before Evan, the BE stage of Focus Pro was one thing, and now we're in this other stage where the company as a whole has grown with the guidance of myself and my partners. That's we're growing by leaps and bounds, which is really exciting.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah. Do you think when you say the two eras, do you think that's mostly from a business perspective, or do you think that's also from a product perspective? I guess you could say. Has the product changed, or is it just behind the scenes?
So I think so 100% behind the scenes. Yes, absolutely. I think production wise, it's very obvious that things have changed since I got involved. I personally, I feel like we are gaining a lot of momentum and steam. We're becoming more well known than we were. We weren't just previously we were a local indie that had a really good turnout and had a lot of fun, and we're now bringing in folks from outside of the area, right? We're not just focused on Massachusetts and Rhode Island and New York talent, right? Which, listen, I love everybody from around here 100%. We have an amazing group of talent that works for us, but we have brought in talent from out of the state. We have brought people from Florida. Our last show in May, we had Lena Cross. She came up from Virginia, world-renowned professional wrestler. She came up. We had the Pareja, which are Australian tag champs that are based out in Florida.
Cool.
They came up. We have been bringing people in from all walks of life and all places of the country to come wrestle for us. And I think that is a massive change to things since I got involved with the promotion.
Was
Very good.
the Evan Zalios tag classic, was that before or after you joined?
That was before I joined, and that actually came as a surprise. I had no idea that was happening. I was sitting there having a beer with one of my buddies, and they announced it, the Evan Zalios Tag Classic, and I completely and totally lost my mind, and was just freaking out the whole time. So that was a really cool thing, and I truly and deeply appreciate that. After I got involved, we renamed it because you can't have the promoter putting his name on it. I mean, what do you think this is? That's not how we do things here.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But it was an amazing thank you and a nod to me from the ownership group at Focus Pro. It's a way to say, in my mind at least, it was a way to say, thank you for the support, really, more than anything else. So it was really cool.
100%. Yeah. And I John and I talk about it all the time. Lots of podcasters want to get into promoting. For some reason, podcasters want to promote shows. And I guess that's, I guess that makes sense. It's natural. I got no interest in running events. I'll leave that all to you guys. John and I are just trying to figure out how to get a championship with our name on it. That's our only goal right now, is we want to get an Indie Wrestling Experience championship belt, and we want to have it defended somewhere. That's the goal for us right now. We want our name on that one thing.
Listen, it's the long game, and you know what, boys, we always got our ears are always open at Focus Pro. So trust me, we'll talk offline about that.
All right, now that wasn't a pitch, but I'll take it, absolutely. So I do want to ask about, because he's one of my favorite people, and that's how I kind of really started finding you guys, was your connection with the Intergender Bonanza and Stan Styles. How did that come about?
Love Stan. So Stan has a long history with our promotion, with our booker, with people that have worked within the company for a long time. And Stan is fantastic. He is he's just a really good dude who knows the industry and knows what he's doing. And the co-branded shows we have are a lot of fun. The IGB and Focus Pro shows always are a total blast to go to attend. And Stan, come on, the people, you know what I mean? It's Stan. right?
Yeah.
Like
We get it. We're fans.
Yeah,
We
we're
get
big
it.
fans.
exactly like it's Stan, it's his posse, like everyone gets it, and he's fun. And the other thing is he's a great wrestling mind,
Mhm.
and he has been nothing but a benefit to us as a promotion as we continue to grow.
hmm Yeah. Now, and in that the growth, I guess I'm gonna kind of jump ahead a little bit, but in that growth, talking about the intergender, you guys have
Yeah.
the show coming up, and we're gonna get to all the way up in a minute. But part of all the way up is a women's title tournament.
Yes,
And
sir.
my question to you is, we've had Focus Pro Wrestling ranked in our intergender promotion rankings
Yeah.
ever since I started, because that to me, there was no women's championship and there are a ton of intergender matches, including for the title on the card. Is that changing?
Yes. No,
Okay.
that is not changing. We will continue to have intergender matches. The whole thing with the women's title is this: there aren't any really in the Northeast, right?
Mhm.
There really aren't a lot. The vast majority of indies have titles that everybody can vie for, right? It's come to our attention as a company that a lot of people don't want to do intergender wrestling, right? Like there's female talent that just wants to wrestle female talent, and I am okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
What we're doing with this women's title is saying, if you are a female wrestler and you want to chase a belt and you want a shot at some of the best female talent out there, come give us a call, because
Right.
this is what we got.
Awesome.
Right? And anyone can challenge, we had in the, we had the first show that we had at Widowmaker. The main event was Shannon Lavangi against Tyree,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
That was for the Focus Pro title. And that
Yeah.
wasn't an intergender show by any means, right?
Mhm.
And we have intergender matches on almost every show.
Mhm.
And it's not just those specific intergender shows that we do. We will continue to do it. Anyone can fight for any title at any time. It's just we want to give a nod to the female talent that is, that's out there, that I feel and we feel as a company has been a little shortchanged. So that's what we're doing with this belt, is that we're saying, look, you want to come fight for a title and you don't, this is where it's going to be. You come here and, the best female talent in the country, come on down. We want to see you here. We want to bring you to Boston. We want to see you vie for that title.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm glad to hear that too. Because I like like I said, I like the intergender matches. But I do also understand, from the very first time I went to an intergender bonanza show, like you can kind of feel which wrestlers are comfortable with it and which
Mhm.
ones aren't. You know what I mean? Like if you go to enough intergender shows and the same guy is wrestling guys every time, you kind of get an idea, right? It's not like it's hard to figure out. And I understand the hesitation. So it's either so this gives the opportunity now, John, I think, for for Focus Pro Wrestling to be the first company in the Indie Wrestling Experience rankings to have a promotion top 10 in intergender and then a separate women's division in the
Mhm.
women's rankings, because I think that's probably what's coming our way here soon. Um,
Hey man, I could appreciate that Evan, that you guys are willing to put that spotlight on women's wrestling and kind of highlight it. That's awesome that you're giving it that platform. That's great.
Yeah. I always say that, look, I was raised by women, my
Hmm.
mom, my two older sisters, my grandmother. I think women's wrestling uh is a fantastic product, and I want to help, and we at Focus want to help showcase that, right? That's
It's
why
awesome. It's amazing.
we're bringing in talent from across the country for this. And there's people that haven't been announced yet. There's women that haven't been announced that
Hmm.
we are insanely excited to have wrestling under the Focus Pro banner for the first time, because it's one of those things where, yeah, we want the best of the best. Like bring them all, men,
That's
women, we
great.
want it all here. Yep.
right.
That's great.
And now that kind of transitions into another topic. So you've got an intergender promotion running a lot of intergender matches. There is a lot of talk out there about locker rooms lately and people being safe in locker rooms. I want to be very clear with you, Evan, here. I am not talking anything political. I want to know everything but that. I want to know
Yeah.
generally, what is Focus Pro? What is Focus Pro's, approach to everyone being okay in the locker room from, you call it a human resources standpoint, I guess. But what do you guys do to make sure everybody feels, that your locker room's a cohesive place, I guess?
Absolutely. So a lot of it starts with the talent, right? And we're never going to bring in talent that is known to be a problem. That's first and foremost one thing we won't do. We're not going to do that for a pop, or we're not going to do that to sell a couple extra tickets. There's absolutely no way, because that locker room is a sacred place and it means a lot to us, right? Something that as a business owner, I vouch. I will never allow my business to be a place where people ever feel uncomfortable or ever feel unwanted, right? So first and foremost, let's get that out of the way. Our locker room's really chill. I think, the people that have come through have always said that they are incredibly, they think the locker room's great because we just allow them to be themselves, right? And that's really what it comes down to, is that when you come and you're a talent that wrestles for Focus Pro, you're going to be able to be yourself. You're going to be able to call your own match. We're not going to tell you what to do or what to say or how to do this or what. We're going to tell you, here's your outline, here's where things go, have fun with it. And that's really what it comes down to, is it's the fun of the fun aspect of the locker room side of things. It's the fact that everyone that hangs out in our locker room, for the most part, everyone hangs out, gets together, has a good time. We have snacks out back. We always have, we have drinks for people. We give out drink tickets at the bars we're at, right? Because we want the talent to enjoy themselves.
Right. Some of these guys just want a bottle of water.
Right. Some guys just want a bottle of water. And guess what? We have water too, right? We have water. We have Gatorade. We have Uncrustables, which, that was my whole thing. People love the Uncrustables. We rip through Uncrustables. But it's one of those things where the environment in the locker room, everyone has to, we want everyone to enjoy themselves. We want everyone to, when they take a booking at Focus Pro, to say, hey, look, I know what I'm getting myself into, and I know that I'm going to have a good time and hang out with everybody.
Right.
It's not just myself that's back there, right? So we do have, a couple of female people that, a couple of female women that work under our, umbrella, that are backstage as liaisons for female talent if they need it. Everyone has, we have a couple different spots where folks can dress if they don't feel comfortable getting dressed in front of everybody else. We have a couple of spots where they can, be in private and get dressed themselves and stuff like that. So we do everything humanly possible to ensure that our locker room is the best and most fun and most comfortable locker room for anybody walking in.
Right. Yeah. No,
that's awesome. That's great.
It really is. Now, what about Focus Pro's perspective? I guess I'll ask it this way, the way I put it in the notes. Focus Pro's fans, your market, your focus, that the group that you're focused on. I'm my 18 to 49. Is what I'm thinking of. I can't get it. I'm getting my words, but what is your strategy? Who are Focus Pro's fans, and how do you guys reach them currently? And are there ways that you're looking to reach them more moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, like everybody else, right? It's the indie wrestling fan, or to me, what I really want to do is I don't just want the indie wrestling fan, right? Like if you come to our shows, I'd say close to 50% of people are not indie wrestling fans. They are fans of wrestling who like to drink beer and have a good time, right? So, it's almost like taking that bar wrestling scene from the West Coast that never quite made its way all the way out here. It's kind of mixing and matching a little bit of that and a little bit of the regular indie style, wrestling show that you see. It's bringing it all together into one, and that's where we have the support of the venues that we work with, right? So Widowmaker, Great American Beer Hall, they've been fantastic because they promote the product themselves to their clientele. And we set up our ring at Widowmaker we are done before noon, and they open for business at 12. So our ring is fully set up on show days by 12 o'clock when people hit that bar room.
Right.
What does that do? That's people that are having drinks, that are looking around. They scan a QR code that's in front of them, takes them right to our Eventbrite. They can buy a couple of tickets for that night if they want to stick around the whole time. Right. Great
It's
American
great.
Beer Hall,
Great.
very similar, but they have a little bit more stuff, I want to say, right? They have like video boards in their bar room. They have a couple different things going on there. So we cater to all that, right? To the venue. But it's one of those things where here's the Eventbrite. Click, go. You want to come by, check it out, see what's going on. This is where we're going to be. And you do the regular stuff, right? We have our YouTube shows, we have our out of focus matches, which we only put up exclusively on YouTube, which are kind of our dark matches that we put on before shows, where we give up and coming talent an opportunity to shine, right? Which I think is super cool.
Absolutely.
To us, it's awesome because we give we give an opportunity to folks that typically wouldn't get an opportunity elsewhere, right? We stream all of our stuff on IWTV. It's always on there, right? So it's either live or when the recording goes up, the recording goes up. We have our Instagram, Twitter. I think there's a TikTok. I don't know. I don't really get involved with that stuff. I'm old. I refuse to get involved with that. But there's that stuff. We do have posters that we hang up, right? And then for us, it's very much a word of mouth kind of thing where we're also chasing folks, right? And we will, every opportunity we have, focus bro. I call into local radio stations, and at the end of the night, at the end of the call, I'm like, hey, can I pitch something real quick, because I have a relationship with these guys already.
Right.
So I throw something in at the end of the call to let people know it's really grassroots marketing kind of stuff. But that's how you get the folks in.
You guys aren't using like those street teams or anything, are you? Or is that part of it?
No, we don't do any of that. No, we're very much, word of mouth more than anything else. And then really we push the social media aspect of stuff. And I think the more that the word of mouth for us is huge, just because it's one person brings a buddy, does this. We have people having their birthday party at our show on July 13th.
So cool.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's like a 12-year-old kid. Who's like, oh, hey, like the dad reached out to us and was like, my son wants to bring his friends to wrestling. Can you guys do 10 tickets and like give us like a little something? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, we'll figure it out. Like,
cool.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff that goes. We have a professional photographer who takes pictures of the crowd, so then the crowd can then share the photos, get people excited about that kind of stuff. And I mean, obviously, a lot of it comes down to the talent, because the more the talent shines, the more people are going to walk through the door. And the more, people come through the door, the more you want that repeat customer to keep coming through.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go ahead, John. Do you have something?
I was just going to say, I mean, Evan, you're on the ball, man. I mean, you're just, you can tell the business savvy that you're bringing. Dude, it's amazing, and it's to be commended, dude. So congratulations, because man, you're saying all the right stuff and doing all the right things, man. Bob, I think we're gonna have to make a trip, my friend.
Oh yeah, there's no question.
Anytime
there's no question we're headed up.
Come on up, boys.
Hey, I heard something about the birthday parties. I mean, I don't know if I can have my dad call, but we may have a 50th kind of thing coming up here.
Let's go, boys. Anytime you want. You let me know when. We'll pay.
We would.
He might have a 50th. He might have. I don't know if a 50th coming up. So I guess you answered kind of one of my questions, which was with the shows at the brewing companies. They're not 21 over. They're not 18 and over. These are all ages shows, right?
Yes, sir. Yep, absolutely.
That's awesome.
It's always been that way?
Yep. Always been that way.
Okay.
They're always all ages shows. We leave it up to, we're here to put on a wrestling show, right? The brewery, it's, on them to police who they're selling stuff to, right? That's that's not my job. But here's the thing. If you take away wrestling from kids and you make it a 21 plus show, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like that's insane, right? Like that's where I come into play. The optics of that are horrible. B, the parents are the ones that are going to be spending the money. So yes, bring the kids in so that they can go get a photo and an 8x10 from their favorite wrestler that they saw that night. And then, you know what I mean? Like that's how you build a business. That's how
Hey,
you
man.
build that loyalty.
Listen, with the wrestling, it's the kids anyway, man. That's the magic age. That's where the seeds planted to become us then, right?
Exactly.
In 15, 20 years from now, they're us sitting here and we're some old guys going, in my day.
Exactly.
But
That's right.
that's great. Yeah.
I agree.
Oh man, shit, I forgot what I was going to say about that, but yeah, no, we're very much looking forward. John and I have been talking about it. We want to get up there and see. We've
Oh,
been
so
very
excited.
impressed with what you
Absolutely.
guys are doing, and I want to get to this show that's coming up July 13th. All the way up. We've been
Yeah.
talking for almost an hour. I haven't gotten to it. So let's finally talk about
Get
the
to it,
reason
man.
Evan is here and why we're so happy to have him. We've been very excited about this show for a while. And we'll start with what we were talking about earlier, the women's tournament. You've got two matches
Yeah.
announced. One has been the same for a while, Kaia, McKenna, and Brooke Havok. And then you had Gabby Forza
Oh,
and Sammi
so cool.
Chaos. And lately there was an addition to that match. You want to tell everybody about it?
Yeah. So let's get to the addition first, and then we'll double back to Kaia and Brooke. So we have Focus Pro received a video from one Miss Center of Attention, Brittnie Brooks.
We know her.
Yes, we do.
We know her very, very well. Brittnie was on our very first show that we had at the beer hall.
Cool.
She sent us a message saying there is no reason why I should not be in this tournament. You've already announced it, and I'm not on it. Why am I not on it? The belt runs through me. Okay. All right. Well, if the belt runs through you, good luck against Gabby Forza and Sammi Chaos.
I mean, we think the world of Brittnie Brooks, but that's a tall order, man.
It is a tall order, but Brittnie's up for it. And candidly, I think the world of Brittnie. I think the world of all these girls, women. I really do. I think the world of Brittnie battled back from 2 ACL surgeries in the course of a few years. She's, I really, and she's a great talent. She is very, very well known, and I'm really happy that we could have her be a part of it, even though she demanded and kind of forced her way in. I'm glad that she's here. Which, look, know me, Gabby is an absolute monster. She, was a former professional women's football player who just lost a tooth last weekend, I think.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm like, Gabby, what's up with your teeth, girl? I was at the show where she first got one knocked out by Zeta, and now she just lost another one at this other show. I'm like, come on with the teeth. But Gabby is a very, very strong, very charismatic, well-adjusted pro wrestler. Like, she's come a long way in short time. And then you've got Sammi Chaos, who is scares me first and foremost. Yeah, and I'm 6'4" and weigh like 280, and Sammi just looks at me and I kind of shrivel. But she, in and of herself, is an absolute, she's a force to be reckoned with, right? And we were, it was going to be the, what is that? What's that line? The irresistible force versus the immovable object, right?
Yes.
But now you've got Brittnie thrown in the mix. So what does that do, right? What does that do mentally to Gabby and Sammi now when they have to, take into effect this X factor that's coming in, who's not just going to be, it's not going to be a Hossette fight, right? It's going to be something different now. So we're really excited about that.
Oh yeah, when I saw those three in the same match, we've been just kind of laughing at how awesome that match is. Like, it's just so stacked. Gabby Forza, we're just big Gabby Forza fans as well. I see her all over the place, and like you said, she's not afraid to take a hit. She's not afraid to take a bump. She's not afraid to take anything. She's a badass. But talk about this other match.
All these women, all the women in our tournament are badasses. The women that we haven't announced yet to the women we have announced, they're all badasses, and every single person that we are announcing is going to be more than capable of holding that title proudly and holding that title for a long time.
Right.
With that being said, Kaia versus Brooke, right? So
Oh,
Brooke's making
yes.
her Focus Pro debut. She has been someone that I have wanted to bring in for quite a while. And then Kaia McKenna she's our Tanahashi. She's our ace of the women's division. Kaia has wrestled on almost every show we've had since I want to say maybe last fall-ish, possibly. She is definitely a phenomenal talent as well. And looking forward to seeing what we can do, and seeing what those two girls pull off.
Right. No, absolutely. Big fans of both of them as well. We just got turned on to Brooke Havok recently and just absolutely love her work. I wanted to know,
Yeah.
you mentioned other names to be announced though. So are you willing to announce the format of the tournament, or is that going to sort of?
So it's looking like, these are our quarterfinal matches, right? There's 4 other women that we will be announcing after this for our August show.
Okay.
And then in September, we have our semifinals. In November at Mo Money, Mo Problems 3, we will be having our finals for the women's belt.
Very cool. Very cool. And
very good.
Are the announcements for the other ones coming after July 13th?
After July 13th.
That's what I figured.
Yes.
So
yes.
cool.
I wish I could share a little bit of info with you guys, but unfortunately I do value my head. And the last thing I want is to have that.
Leave him with the tease, Evan. I love it.
Let him know. But look, I know people are going to be really excited and really happy with what we've got going on.
No question, man.
Absolutely.
The other big match that's really sort of got our attention. I know it's got John's attention because John's a Bayside guy. But you guys are bringing in Effie to take on Brian Bayside, man. We're super excited about that match.
Love
the GCW champion, GCW champ Effie. And Bayside. I mean, what is there to say about Bayside?
Dude, you can't.
Preaching to the choir on Bayside, man. We
Absolutely.
love that guy.
You guys were talking a little bit earlier about how every fandom has its guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like every promotion has its guy.
Right.
I don't know how, but Brian Bayside is that guy. For Focus Pro, he is that guy. The fans love him. The talent loves wrestling him. The referees dance with him. Like, it is the wildest thing. He had Danielle, our ring announcer / interviewer, dancing with him on his way out the last show. I'm like, what is going on? Can you please go back to work? Like, what is happening? Brian Bayside. But no, we are to have someone like Effie on a Focus Pro show of this caliber is huge for us. This is one of those things where, we had talked about the before Evan versus the current thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those after Evan moments where it's like, okay, cool. Like, we've got Effie. Like, we have the GCW champ coming out. That's wild for us. Like,
it's huge, man.
Like,
huge.
Bringing the belt out on a Focus Pro show is incredibly exciting. Effie is a world-renowned talent.
Mm-hmm.
He is, he's phenomenal, and we are very, very excited to have him be a part of our show, be a part of Focus Pro, because truly to me, and this, we'll get to the rest of the card in a minute, but truly to me, the minute that you wrestle for Focus Pro, you're one of our guys. Our girls, like, you're one of us, right? Because it's an experience into and unto itself to wrestle for us. And I always tell people this all the time, and I had a conversation the other day where for us, it's at the end of every show, I walk around and I make sure everyone is taken care of, they're paid, they're happy, they're good, and I shake their hand or I give them a hug and I tell them, thank you so much, I can't wait to see you again.
That's so
because
cool.
You become family, because that's what Focus Pro is to us, to my partners, to the talent that comes in. We're a big family, and being able to welcome Effie into that family is very exciting for me.
Yeah, we're very excited to watch it. And it's not the only, let's say, the only champion from another well-known independent promotion that you are bringing in for this show, because you've got Charles Mason from House of Glory coming in.
We do. Yeah, that was an unexpected surprise. So look, Danny Miles and Charles Mason is going to be, and to quote the great Jim Ross, a slobber knocker.
Yep.
Ready
No
for
doubt.
Right? We're ready. We are so ready for this. Danny is a legit tough guy. Danny could go with anybody. Danny can wrestle all different types of matches. He can wrestle all different types of styles. He has wrestled in Japan. Danny is a legit talent that we are very lucky to have at Focus Pro. And Charles is a very scary individual who is no. I mean, look, his resume speaks for himself, right? The man is he is a badass who can go and is just tough as nails and slightly homicidal, and is just a very incredible. And he's an incredible wrestler, and he's an incredible talent, and he's one of those guys where after Danny's actions against our champ Manny over the past few months, and Danny thinking that he could just get away with doing whatever he wanted to do, and said, "Okay, like you wanna play, and you wanna just hurt people. Let's put you in the ring with somebody who knows how to hurt people, and we'll see what we can do." So that's what's brought us to this match here. Is this is Danny's punishment for beating up Manny after matches and trying to end his career and putting him down.
Right.
This is what you get. You want to play ball? Let's play ball.
Now,
There you go.
now
Consequences, man.
Yeah. No, tell me what happened. So Danny attacks Manny, and then there was a match set up for the championship, and then that got changed. What happened there? I didn't follow along.
So unfortunately, Danny was not medically cleared, and that's a shoot. Danny was not medically cleared to wrestle that match. So Danny made some calls, and he brought in Big Bacon Brad Hollister, who I think the world of, and I think is an amazing talent. But Brad is a legit badass tough guy. Like, Brad will beat the shit out of you. You can edit that out if you have to, but it's the truth. And he's no one to play with. And Danny was hurt. Brought in Brad. Brad and Manny went the distance, and Manny ended up winning in a street fight. But Danny, after the match, again attacked Manny, left him laying. Tried to hurt our guy, tried to hurt our champion, and that's just not something you do. So at the end of the show, after Danny was laughing it up, I confronted him and I said, "Hey, look, this is not how we do business here. This is not how things work. You don't get away with this kind of stuff. You'll see what we have in store for you July 13th." And now here we are.
That's a hell of a thing to have in store for him. My gosh.
Yeah.
But Manny doesn't get a night off. Manny doesn't get a night off because I when I was mentioning you're bringing in a famous other promotions champions, you got a big one coming in for Manny too. You got Channing Thomas.
Channing Thomas. Yes, absolutely.
Or in some circles, Angelo Intellect. Sorry, I got to make sure
well, yes, that too. Look, I'm just really excited for Sydney Bacabella to get a hot mic in front of a crowd. Like, I personally give this man a microphone, let him cook.
Now wait, I'm going to jump in and interrupt you before we get to that in a second, because I've seen Bacabella putting you over on YouTube videos before, haven't I?
Yes, you have 100%. So here's where things get a little murky, right? So there's the separation between Evan Zalios, home loan specialist mortgage guy, and Evan Zalios, promoter at Focus Pro. Sydney Bacabella is a national treasure. I will say, that man has done more for me as a talent that has supported my business personally than almost anybody else. Mm-hmm. I will 100% on record. Love that man to death. Channing has always been one of my guys. So we talk about, going all the way back to the start of this interview when we talked about our guys, how when you're an indie wrestling fan, you have your guys, right? Mm-hmm. Channing and Bacabella have always been my guys.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched them wrestle everywhere. I've watched them down in Brockton, Massachusetts. I've watched them in Fall River. I watched them on the beach. I've watched them everywhere together. Channing, I don't know why he's not signed. He's an incredible talent, and he's a brilliant mind and an amazing athletic kid, and he needs more looks. People need to stop sleeping on him.
Agreed.
I'm happy that he's out in Dreamwave and he's getting the looks over there as well, because Channing deserves all the attention he can get.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bacabella is a stick of dynamite, right? And you light it, and then you kind of just watch and see what happens. So I'm really excited for them to come into focus. This has been one of my goals since I came on, was to give them that outlet as well. And look, Manny's got his hands full. Channing is not someone to be taken lightly. He's not someone to sleep on. He is a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal wrestler he's the limitless champ right now. He's held titles all across up and down the East Coast. I truly believe this has the opportunity to be Manny's hardest title defense to date, because it's not just Channing he's got to worry about. For the first time, Manny's got to worry about somebody outside of the ring too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I certainly hope that Manny doesn't. I'm looking forward to Manny overcoming this challenge and remaining champion. I personally am a big Manny Aries fan, have been from the moment I saw him, the moment he won that belt. I mean, I've just been following the journey and just big fan of what he does. And I think the future is so bright for that guy.
Manny has the charisma of I can't even like describe it, right? The fans naturally pull for Manny, and he has all credit due. He has worked his ass off to get to where he is right now. Completely changed his body type, working nonstop every day to get better and better. He holds that Focus Pro heavyweight title so proudly that it makes me proud that Manny is our champion. And truly, he is, he's the epitome and embodiment of what you want a champion to be in this kind of deal, right? He's proud to hold that title. He takes it with him everywhere he goes. He is proud to be our champion, and we're proud to have him. So seeing him and putting what we want to do, and what it's always come down to, is putting challenges in front of Manny, because Manny deserves the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and they seem to get harder every month. Like you put bigger rocks in front of him every month. Like, I love it. I'm absolutely here for it. I wanted to mention a couple other folks on the show that we are big fans of. I can't talk about All the Way Up without mentioning Milo, Mirra, and the Pogo Stick taking on the Vegan God, Leo Sparrow. Man, two of my also big favorites. In the industry for two very different reasons. Milo's a guy who to me has the ability to be someone's guy. Like Milo's the guy that kids maybe like people, adults and kids will go to see Milo. They'll want to go see the Pogo Stick guy at first, and then they'll stick around for everything else he can do, which is crazy.
Right.
And Leo is just, I mean, he's been a champion. He's very polished. I really like what Leo does as well.
I call Leo is the most professional wrestler I've ever worked with, right? And that I say that, and I know that that's Brian Myers, who's his trainer. I know that that's his moniker, right? He's the most professional wrestler. But Leo is the most professional wrestler. That guy can do no wrong to me. He is not only an amazing wrestler and a great talent, right? Because he is, and he's a heat magnet. Because the minute he comes out throwing that spinach, everything goes downhill.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually he threw the first time I saw Leo Sparrow was at a Major Brothers podcast event at the Kowloon in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Leo walked out and drilled me in the face with a handful of spinach. Little did he know, 3 months later, he was booked on a Focus Pro show. So, but no, that he's awesome. He is a phenomenal talent. The son of the sun. He knows what to do and he knows how to work it. And his future is insanely bright. Milo is look, the pogo stick stuff aside, he hasn't been doing this all that long.
Right.
And to see how far he's come in that time is amazing. He does have all the qualities you look for in someone that you can push to the top, because he's one of those people that he's an attraction. People want to see what he's going to do. Bill Burr's podcast was talking about him, a couple of months ago. Like, you don't just get natural rubs like that from places and not, end up doing something with it. And Milo's he's very humble, really good guy, phenomenal athlete. And I'm really looking forward to these two tearing the house down when they get in the ring.
Yeah. No, me too.
Yeah.
I want to mention one other big name that you're bringing in. Talk about getting Bear Bronson in.
Bear's our guy. We love Bear. Bear wrestled for us for the first time at our last show at the Great American Beer Hall, All of the Lights. He wrestled Manny, actually, and put on a show for the ages. Those two really, really, for a main event after 2 hours of wrestling, they kept the crowd right into it. They really did an amazing job. And look, Bear he's a pedigree, right? He's a national TV talent. People know who he is. He's absolutely destroying the indies right now. And I couldn't be more proud to have him as part of our crew, right? He is a very genuine, humble person. I first met Bear during one of Gabby's matches in Worcester, maybe a year and a half ago. And he's just a very nice, humble guy who is an ass kicker in the ring. Like, he will turn it on and absolutely destroy you, right? And I think one of the things that that you notice that I'm saying a lot about people is just what quality people the talent are, right? I can't stress enough outside of the ring how good the people that we bring in for these shows are. They are legitimately, they're professional, they are kind, they are gracious, they are courteous, they take the time out to talk to the fans, they take the time out for the photos. We have not had a single head case, and I am incredibly thankful for that, right? Because that stuff doesn't belong, in my opinion, in anybody's locker room. Bear's an ass kicker, and he's wrestling Griffin McCoy. And Griff's a badass in and of himself. Like, Griff will take your head off if you're not paying attention. Griff's one of those Maryland guys down there. He trains at Catch Point with my other boys post game, who we need to talk about as well. But Griff's the top guy. He is 100% a top guy, and he deserves top guy talent. And I think Bear and Griff is going to be that is a potential show stealer, just because of how hard these guys hit and how badly they both want the win. I'm looking forward to seeing them lock up, which I do not believe has ever happened before, and I'm excited to see what they bring to the table.
It's gonna be a banger match for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Griffin. I saw Griffin a few years ago, maybe when I first started this, 22, maybe 20. It's sometime in there. Very different now than he was then, as far as experience and being a veteran and being polished and everything. But the thing I notice now is that I noticed within the last year and a half is how much higher on the card Griffin has climbed wherever I see him. And that's the thing that always stands out to me. You know what I mean? If you see a guy who's in the first match, second match every time, and all of a sudden he's in main events for 3 different promotions, in one month, like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, look, Griff has all the tools, every single one of them. Right. And that's the thing that we at Focus Pro really look for is, look, who's going to be that next one? Who's going to be the one that elevates themselves and gets to the next level, right? And the only way you find that out is if you put, talent against talent, right? So yeah, let's give Griff Bear. Let's see how these two, rock and roll inside that ring. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think it's gonna be a wild match, man. All
Yeah,
right.
same. That has the potential, like I said, to steal the night. It really does.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about them. Our guys, your guys, post game, man, taking on
That's my voice.
what is shot through the heart is what they're calling themselves. Love Doug and TJ
Shot the
Crawford.
front.
We love post
Yep.
game down here, man.
Dude, so here's the deal with
Yes.
post game. And shot through the heart. Look, TJ and Doug are a very well-known tag team up here. They're incredible singles wrestlers on their own down here as well. Up here, you guys are down there. I'm up here. Whatever. They're phenomenal singles wrestlers, but they are a tag team called Shot Through the Heart, and they have run roughshod through almost every promotion around. They've tagged everywhere. They're real life best friends, and they do an incredible job together. Like they know how to work it. TJ's an absolute animal. Doug is one of those people that he's such a refined wrestler. He's so good at what he does. The two of them together is a phenomenal tag team. But there was a game, which I love post game. I am happy that we have post game. Post game are our champions. They are a very they are a they wear those belts very well. I'm a big fan of those guys based on, I saw them wrestle a bunch of times before they came into Focus. And you don't really see a lot of tag teams that are just tag teams now. Right. Usually it's like a couple of dudes that wrestle solo and then they tag together, but then they, take their own bookings on their own. And I know Mike does some stuff on his own as well. But he and Vinny are a team, right? And they're known as a team. I love those guys, and I couldn't be happier with what they've turned out. And I'm very, very excited to see them take on Shot Through the Heart, which is going to be, I love tag team wrestling. I've always loved tag team wrestling. Growing up, my favorite wrestlers were the Rockers. So to me, it's like being able to see it. And to me, post game has that it factor, right? You've got Mike, who's like the smaller, quicker guy. You've got Vinny, who's the bigger, stronger guy. They have a killer tag team finisher, which to me is the greatest thing ever. I'm gonna try and convince them to do a powerplex at the show.
Yeah.
But I think that those guys are something special and they will continue to be something special. So I'm super happy that they are a part of Focus. It was one of those things where bringing them in was a great idea and they've just taken off. And then you add their manager to the mix, you add in Hellfire McGuire, and all hell breaks loose.
Love Hellfire.
It's a wild time with those dudes. Yeah, same here. Absolutely phenomenal. And they've done an amazing job coming in, being crowd favorites, and then immediately turning everybody against them and being one of the most hated groups that we have in the entire company. So it's pretty fun. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, we get to see a lot of Hellfire and Miami Mike down here at MCW. They're here all the time, and they got a running storyline going there. Hellfire's with Mecca Brian Johnson down there, and that's, you know how Hellfire pumps people up. So you put him with Brian Johnson, and they're electric. But we're big fans of those guys, and I'm looking forward. I've seen Love Doug. I've not seen much of TJ Crawford, so I'm very excited to see these guys.
Check out TJ if you can get online. TJ's had a lot of really good. He's been on a streak probably for the past 6 months where he's had a lot of great matches one-on-one. Check it out. He just wrestled Bryce Donovan, who's from WWE ID. He just wrestled him a couple of weeks ago. Check that out. That was a banger of a match. But yeah, check out TJ. TJ's a hell of a talent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm looking. Let's see. I think I've only got one other match listed on here. I think I've run through the entire card, but not to gloss over them, because Diego Alvarez, I had him positioned as #1 contender for a very long time, and I thought he might be the guy, but turns out not yet. But I am a big Diego guy, and then also Vinny Pacifico, who we all know from many different places. Talk about that match.
Papi Guapo, my guy, Papi Guapo. Diego looks like a member of Menudo.
Yeah, it does.
if you guys if you guys ever want to cause a ruckus, just give Diego a microphone and let him go.
Turn loose.
Yeah, that's it's like yelling fire in a crowded theater with that guy. No, look, Diego is. If you ask him, he'll tell you he's the face of Focus Pro. He is the most hated person that comes through that curtain. I have never seen that kind of anger from our fandom ever when Diego gets the mic. His back and forth with Mike Grassa and Katie Prescott is legendary at our shows. And then, I mean, look, Diego's going to Diego no matter where he goes, no matter what he does. But he's been on a streak, and he is Diego is a talented wrestler who knows how to do what he has to do to win a match. Vinny Pacifico is making his Focus Pro debut, which is incredibly exciting for us. Vinny is another worldwide talent. Like I think, it's one of those things where just like Griffin, just like, some of these other folks that we have in here, we want to test them. We want to test them and see what they can do. And Vinny he's proven. He's well known. He's everywhere. He's starring in movies, and he's traveling to all different countries, and he's, all over the place. He's a talent, and he knows what he's doing, and he knows how to do it. So, all right, Diego, you want to take that next step up? Let's see what you can do. All right.
Very good.
So we're really excited for that match as well. And I am incredibly hesitant as to what Diego's going to say to the crowd. But other than that, everything's great. It's phenomenal.
Well, now I feel like I'm in a group of one here, but you let Diego know I'm behind him at least. I'm a Diego guy. Right here, Diego guy.
You are the one fan. You are the one fan. Now we know where that one Guapo Suave shirt went.
That's it. It was sold to me. It was sold to me. Right. Oh man. So Evan, did we miss any of the matches? I think we covered all the ones that have been announced, right?
No, I think we covered everything. Yeah, it's going to be we're gonna have ourselves a wild Sunday afternoon. That's for sure. We're incredibly excited for it. It's going to be. We love going to the beer hall. That venue is incredible. Streaming live on IWTV. Tickets are on sale now at Eventbrite. We're really looking forward to packing that place out. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention some of our sponsors before we start wrapping stuff up.
Go for it.
Absolutely.
Ghost Town Tattoos, who are always there. The Is It Still Good podcast. Those guys are awesome. So I want to thank those guys as well. The VSW podcast. We are presented by the VSW podcast. Versace, thank you for everything you do for us. But I'm sure there's others that I'm completely blanking on right now. But those are our big three heading into this show. Any of the fans that sponsor our talent, we are incredibly grateful for. We know how much that means to the talent and to us as a company. So we're incredibly thankful for them. But yeah, I think that kind of gives a little bit of a rundown, at least, as to where we're at.
Absolutely. And just because you mentioned it, if anybody is interested in sponsoring, who do they reach out to? Yep. How do they reach out?
So they send us a message on any of our socials. It's just Focus Pro Wrestling on Instagram and X. Again, I don't know anything about. Can you message people on TikTok? I don't know how that works. Or you can either email us. The email that goes directly to me is just focusprowrestlingpromotions@gmail.com. I handle all the sponsorship stuff, so ultimately it all flows back to me anyways. Awesome. Yeah, that's the big one. Or you can just email focusprowrestling@gmail.com and it'll eventually make its way to me.
All right, very cool. Very cool. Evan, I gotta ask you though, we talked about the Evan Zalios era of Focus Pro starting in 2024, moving forward, some of it's part of your vision. What do you see? What would you like to see for Focus Pro in the next 5 years? Like where's this journey leading?
Where's this journey leading? So first and foremost, we want to be the #1 independent wrestling promotion in Massachusetts and New England. That goes without saying. We want to be mentioned in the same breath as some of the bigger guys that are out there that have been at it significantly longer. Focus Pro's only been around for a few years, so we're making leaps and bounds, and we're making huge strides building to where we need to be. In 5 years' time, like I said, I want us to be up and running shows in different states. I want us to be,
Yes.
focusing in on partnerships with other promotions that are out there, that, non-Massachusetts based promotions. I want us to go to different towns. I want us to have joint Focus Pro shows in Chicago and Maryland and Florida and Arizona and California and New York. I want us to expand our reach across the country. That's really what it comes down to. And I want us to be, when people talk about independent wrestling, I want us to be up there in one of the first names that they mention.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, I'll tell you this, Evan, it's been an absolute blast having you on here. And when you start talking about business stuff, I shouldn't wait till the end of the interview to ask that question, because it always gets me jazzed up, because I'm fascinated by the business. I love the business of it. And at some point, I would love to nail you down to a conversation that mostly will probably have to take place off screen, because I have a lot of questions that I want to ask about, that model that you're talking about has been done successfully by others. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a model that makes sense. And I would love to learn the inner workings of that. And, I got questions for days, but it's very cool. And I'm very much looking forward to you guys doing that. It's, I think Focus Pro has got a great base. And I think you guys growing on that it just makes sense. And I think you guys are doing a great job with it. So we're looking forward to watching you guys grow.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, we like to think that we're doing things differently, right? And that's the biggest thing for us, is that we're not, and the way that our business is run and the way that we do things is completely different than you're going to see a lot of other promotions run, because we are truly a business. There are no egos with us. It is what is right for business and how you do things. We treat wrestlers the way we ourselves would want to be treated. We treat the talent how they deserve to be treated. We're not making people stand in line for hours after a show waiting for a payday while they dig through the till to find the money to pay for people. Like, that's not what we do. We're not, we are we're an independent wrestling company, but we're a professional goddamn wrestling company. And that's how we do it.
Yes, sir.
That's how we're going to keep
going.
going.
I love that.
Yep.
Well, I think that's the perfect way to end it. I couldn't agree with you more. And Evan, thank you so much for coming on. We will be in touch very soon as our live watch along of All the Way Up approaches July 13th, 3 o'clock, guys. So, Evan, thanks for coming on.
Wait.
Yeah.
Boys, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Evan, thank you very much for your time.
You guys rock. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye-bye.